Hey, 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 hey. All right, this is Miss Ross. Let's get started. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about seasons. Okay, so before we get started, I want you to draw a circle. This circle is going to be the earth. Okay, so before we get at the beginning, where I'm going to take a straight edge, some sort of, let me see if I can find something here. Yeah, I'm going to take a straight edge and I'm going to draw a line across the center of my circle, okay? This is going to be, you guessed it, the equator. So just draw your line here. Okay, the equator is an imaginary line. If you went to the equator, there would not be a line on the ground that, there would not be a sign on the ground that says the equator is here, okay? But it is an imaginary line that divides the earth into two pieces, okay? And the top piece is called the northern hemisphere because it's in the north. Hemisphere, hemi means half, so this literally means top half, the north half. And then the bottom part down here, you guessed it, geniuses, it is the southern hemisphere. Southern, hemi means half. Okay, so this is the northern half, this is the southern half of the globe, okay? And the equator is kind of like the line in the sand that divides the two, okay? And it is imaginary. All right, so then what I want you to do is over here, I want you to draw the sun. Okay, this is going to be the sun. Just do the best you can on this. And ideally, we would like these to be in your science journal so that you can keep up with them and so that you always have them and you can reference back to them. So, but if you're at home and you don't have your science journal, just do it on a piece of paper and then you can glue these in later. Okay, now we have the sun here, and the sun, its rays are shining at the earth. And they are going to be most intense at the equator, okay, because they have less, they don't have to travel as far, okay, because the equator is closest to the sun, all right? So at the equator, this is what we like to call the tropical zone. So I want you to draw two lines here, one right about there, and one right about there. And then you're going to color this section that you just did, you're going to color it red. And I want you to color it red because I want you to understand that it is warmer there, that it is tropical. So here we go. Let me find a red in here. Well, I got a reddish orange. All right, here's a red. Don't laugh at Miss Ross's sad little crayon. All right, so I'm going to color this section red. This is tropical. It is hot here, and it's hot all the time. Okay, it does not snow near the equator, just does not happen. If you are in a tropical climate, it is warm all the time. So you could get on a plane and fly to the equator tomorrow, and you could hang out in your flip-flops and in your strappy sandals. You would be just fine. Okay, so the equator, it has one season. Okay, so I want you to write that this is the tropical zone. Okay, the tropical zone has one season. They don't have winter, spring, summer, and fall. It is just warm all the time. Okay? All right, so the next zone that we have is this zone right here. And this is where you live. Okay? So I want you to draw in. And guys, please do not make fun of my picture of America. But let's say that this is America up here. I know, don't make fun. There's Florida. And over here to Texas. All right. Okay, so this is America. You live right there. Okay, so you live in North Carolina. You live in this zone. Okay, and this zone exists on top and the bottom. I'm going to color this zone green. This is called the temperate zone. Okay. Now, the temperate zone, you have seasons. You have summer, you have spring, you have winter, you have fall, okay? Okay, so let's write that in here. This is the temperate zone. There are 4 seasons. Okay. All right. And the reason why there are 4 seasons in the temperate zone is because of the tilt of the earth. And we're going to learn about that in a few moments. Okay. Temperate zone. I also have it down here. So I want you to write down here that this is, you can write that this is Australia. If you want to, you can even draw yourself a little koala bear in there. All right, this is Australia. Okay, so on the top is North America. Down here we have Australia. And Australia is also in the temperate zone, but they're in the temperate zone in the southern hemisphere. And they also have 4 seasons. But the interesting thing is when we are having winter, Australia is having summer. And when they're having summer, we're having winter. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. All right, and the top zone, I'm sure that you probably have already guessed it. The top zone and the bottom zone are the polar zones. Polar zones are cold all the time. They are far away. They are far, far, far away from the sun, the rays of the sun. And so they're cold. All right. Just not as much sun can get there. Farther away. Okay. All right. So polar zone is cold. Temperate zone kind of has milder temperature. Mild means like it's kind of medium. And then equator is hot. So let's write hot, mild. This is just like salsa, guys, and cold. Hot, mild, cold, hot. This is mild, like mild salsa, and cold. Okay? All right, so now what you need to know is let's talk about why we have seasons. Okay, why do we have seasons? I'm going to come over here. Why do we have seasons? seasons. Why do we have seasons? Okay, and then you're going to write all of this down because it is very important. I want you to draw a picture of the earth. Just draw the earth. But I want you to understand that the poles, you know, in this picture are here and here. But in actuality, the earth is tilted. Okay, so the poles are actually here and here. It's tilted on an axis. Okay, so if you took this and twisted it over, that would actually be the way the world looks. Okay, so this is Earth, and it is tilted, and it is tilted towards the sun. Okay. And then as it travels around the sun, because you know that the earth travels around the sun, it can tilt away from the sun. So if this is you, let's pretend that this is you. When you are tilted towards the sun, it's summertime. But then as the as the earth travels around the sun, because you know it travels in an orbit around the sun. So this is summertime when you're tilted towards the sun. Now come over here, and how about when the earth is over here and you're still right here, but now you're not tilted towards the sun, you're tilted away from it. So this is when it is winter. Okay? All right, so let's write down what that means. Why do we have seasons? Write this down. You're going to say seasons are created by the position of the sun and the tilt of the earth. In summer, Miss Rose, do I have to write all this down? Yes. We are tilted toward the sun. In winter, we are tilted away. Okay, now the last thing that I want you to understand today is what that means for, in terms of North America. You're going to write that right here. What that means for North America and the country or the continent that is opposite of us, which is Australia. Okay, so we're going to make a quick chart right here. Okay, you're going to draw one line, two lines, and then a line across the top. And so we're going to talk about what this means. So we're going to do, this is going to be the month. This is going to be North America, and this is going to be Australia. And we're going to talk about what it's like for them and what it's like for us in each month. All right, so in January, in North Carolina, you know that it is cold. But that means that in North America, that means that in Australia, when we are cold because it's winter, they are hot. They are having summer. Because when we're tilted towards when we're tilted away from the sun, they're actually tilted towards it. So when we are tilted towards it, they're down here. And so I'm going to put an A. This is Australia. They're tilted towards the sun. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's just do March. Okay. So we got January. Let's do March. In March, it is still a little chilly here in North America. But in Australia, it's warm. Okay? So when we are coming into spring, they are still in fall. All right, so let's do July. You know that in America, in July, it is hot, hot, hot. And in Australia, in July, they are cold. Miss Ross, does that mean that when they have Christmas, does that mean that in Christmas it's cold? It's hot for them? Yes. So their 4th of July, they're freezing. There's no barbecues, there's no fireworks outside. Well, first off, they're not American. But anyway, what I'm saying is that in July, for them, it is cold. All right, let's do another one. Let's do October. In October, our weather is cool. Got to start wearing a sweater. And for them, it is starting to warm up. And then let's do December. You know how December feels. Our December is cold, and they are hot in Australia. Okay, so their Christmas time is actually hot. All right, so I hope that you understand what we're talking about here. 3 different zones. You got the tropical zone, the temperate zone, the polar zone. All right, this is North America, Australia. Seasons happen because of the tilt of the earth and how as we travel around the sun, when we travel around the orbit, this is the orbit that goes around the sun, we are tilted towards the sun in the summer and away from the sun in the winter. Make sure you get this chart down comparing the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere during each of the seasons. All right, love you guys. Bye, be sweeties.